If you are thinking about buying a franchise, you will probably hear the phrase Discovery Day mentioned by the franchisor who's sharing with you about the opportunity. Yes, and that's cool, but right now I was just thinking about marsupials and the pouches and the whole... Thank you for clarifying, and now we'll get back to the main idea. What is a Discovery Day? Yes, and why does a kangaroo have to be so frighteningly big and have that big old crazy pouch? Does it really need to have that pouch? I don't think so. Well, listen here, I don't know, and furthermore, I don't care. Because we're talking about Discovery Days and everything you would ever need to know about Discovery Days. And that is cool, but I just also would like to carve out some time to discuss what sound a kangaroo makes, because that is a bad sound. That is a sound of badness. Listen to what a kangaroo sounds like. No, that is a bad sound. That is a sound. It is a bad sound, and the people out there, pull it together. They need to know about this. Get some help, man. We're going to talk today about franchising 101 and everything you could possibly need to know about Discovery Days. And we're going to be interviewing Matt Kline with Oxi Fresh, the franchise brand developer with Oxi Fresh. With over 400 locations throughout America, the Oxi Fresh franchise system and company is doing very, very well. And now, back to the program.
You have questions? America's #1 business coach has answers. It's your Broda from Minnesota. Here's another edition of Ask Clay Anything on the Thrive Time Business Coach Radio Show.
Yes, and yes. Mr. Matt Kline, always looking fine. How are things going in Denver today, my friend?
Things are going great. Have a really exciting week here. We have some new people here for training, so always nice to meet the people we've been talking to and get them on the path to franchise ownership.
Now, my understanding, I talked to Jonathan Barnett, the CEO and president of Oxi Fresh, the founder of Oxi Fresh today, and John was telling me that you have, I believe, 2 people in town or 3 people in town today for a franchise discovery day. Is that correct? Am I getting that right?
We do, yeah. So we have 2 groups, Charleston, South Carolina, and then we have an area in New Jersey, 2 different groups of people. Great franchise. One's a father-son combo, and one's a gentleman that's just moving forward on his own. But, yeah, they're here, got through the whole process of validation. They're ready to move forward and get their discovery and their training done this week.
What I wanted to do on today's show is I wanted to really talk about validation and the Discovery Day 101. So I wanted to kind of start with this because I think there's initially a lot of misunderstanding about how the world of franchising works, and I would like to tee up how I believe it works, Matt, and you can clarify if I'm getting something wrong or missing some details. Essentially, if I'm out there and I'm looking to create time freedom or financial freedom, I can go out there and look for a business model like an Oxi Fresh that's been proven to work, and if the system looks to be a go or I'm interested as a franchisee, I reach out to the franchisor. So in this case, I'd reach out to Oxi Fresh. And then you guys are going to give me an overview. But sometime during this process, I have to decide whether Oxi Fresh is right for me and my family. And you really have to decide if Oxi Fresh is right for me as the franchisee. And we would call that particular process of validation. Is that correct?
It is, yeah. So, I mean, it is certainly, both parties. Right. You got to find that the model that works for you and what your goals are and how that model can get you there. But we also have to make sure the individual that is coming into Oxi Fresh fits the mold. Right. And a good example is that, we're a very technology driven company. And so, if you don't believe in technology and you don't want to use a computer, which I've had this happen, that's probably not a good fit. So that's a very easy example.
Got it.
But also just expectations, realistic expectations, those sorts of things. So we just want to make sure that everyone's going down the same path together.
So let's kind of break down some of the validation criteria here. One, does someone's credit score at all play into this? Does somebody's credit score and ability to have access to liquid cash?
Yeah, and that can be in a lot of different forms. So we don't do like the net worth type. Our franchise investment is not high enough where it's, $500,000 or $2 million or whatever. So we want you to have the ability to come to the table with enough funds that you're not underfunded. So being able to either come to the table with your own funds or being able to do like a retirement rollover or maybe SBA loan, or we've had people like myself who've done a home equity line of credit. So how we get there, if you're getting a traditional types of business loans, the credit's going to be important. The debt to income ratio is going to be important. Who's all involved with the business. So absolutely, credit is one of the main criteria.
So let's get in a little bit more into this financing piece. What percentage of the people that buy an Oxi Fresh franchise do you think are people that are going to get an SBA loan, a Small Business Administration loan?
Probably about 40% go through the SBA process. You can do an SBA or SBA Express.
Got it.
The SBA is an extremely good funding platform. You really have to have your ducks in a row. It's the hardest funding to get. You really need to have a good credit score. You need to have all those things, but that is the best because the interest rates are extremely low because you're a very, very qualified individual.
Okay, so the SBA would be a way to go for about 40% of people. And you mentioned a home equity line.
Yep.
Now, I know that you live in a palatial estate. You have sprawling pools. It's a metropolis. You really have, 47,000 square feet on the first level, Matt? So not most people can pull out $7 million of equity to buy an Oxi Fresh like you can. So what kind of money are we talking about to get into the Oxi Fresh game as it relates to pulling money out from a home equity loan?
Yeah, if you were doing it just completely on the home equity line of credit, you want to have about 65,000, something like that. Those are also very low in terms of interest. Those are good ways of doing it. I've had people do kind of a hybrid where they're going to have a home equity line and put some on that, but then they also have like retirement. So we do kind of open the door, and we have very, very good partners that we work with. Not only that will show you what you qualify for, but the implications of taking certain types of loans out. But the HELOC for us worked very well. So my brother and I are business partners. That's what we used.
Okay, so you would help somebody out there if they're looking to buy a franchise find the appropriate financing.
Yeah, definitely. And I personally wouldn't take them through that because I'm not the expert, although I've taken many, many people through that process with our funding partners. Okay. They are third-party funders that are specifically versed in franchising, that know about that, very in tune with SBA. We are an SBA-approved franchise, which helps it just in the validation of you as a person getting funding for an SBA loan.
What does that mean to be SBA approved? SBA approved. What does that mean for the listeners out there?
Yeah, so that means that, the business that you're going with, let's just say Oxi Fresh, we have gone through the process with the SBA to be an approved business. So we have a good financial standing for a certain period of time where they say, yes, this business is a functioning business that should continue to grow. We've also been steady in terms of growth. So they look at our success rate, they look at our financial standing, and they say, yes, we as the SBA approve this business as a business that we believe we can do that. So in terms of what the actual individual is going to go through, they don't have to do as much in terms of if you opened your own business,
got it,
right, and you did an SBA, you're going to have to literally go every piece of the process through, industry reporting back to them. You're going to have to go through things like pro formas to a very nth degree. So a lot of that's taken care of because the model itself is already proven. So what they're really looking for is if you are able to be funded in that proven business. So it eliminates some of the steps because the business model is already proven.
And I want to make sure that all the listeners out there know what the SBA is. It stands for the Small Business Administration. And back in the day, 2007, Matt, I was Oklahoma's SBA Entrepreneur of the Year. And you might say, well, why does the SBA recognize entrepreneurship? Or what does the SBA do? Well, the SBA is a Small Business Administration, and their job is to stimulate the economy. And over the past 20 years, according to Forbes, a little over 65% of all of the jobs in America have been created by small business owners. And most small business owners need some access to capital to start a business or to grow a business. And so the SBA is teamed up with local banks, community banks, regional banks. And what they do is if the SBA, let's say that your local bank lended me $100,000, the Small Business Administration typically will guarantee somewhere between 75% and 85% of that loan. So if I defaulted on the loan, the bank's not on the hook for all $100,000. They're only on the hook for $15,000 or $25,000. So the interest rate's lower. It's a super move. So again, just recapping here, maybe 40% of the people who buy an Oxi Fresh are looking for an SBA loan, or typically use an SBA loan. Matt, is that correct?
That is correct. Yep.
And then home equity lines would be what percentage approximately home equity?
That's much smaller. That's less than 10%. About 80% of the people that come through Oxi Fresh get some form of funding.
And what percentage of people pay just cash? They're just like cash, boom, up front. Here's a check. Let's go. 20%?
Less than that. A lot of people will do retirement rollovers. A lot of veterans will do their rollovers because of their time in the service. They have a good stack of cash there that they've accrued, and they can basically, if they retire from the service, they can take that and use that to invest. That's a pretty big one. There's, for veterans, there's like M5 things that they're coming out with now. So, there's all sorts of. SBA is a very, very big one. Home equity is a smaller one because you do need to have the equity in your home to make that a viable option.
Right.
Retirement rollovers are very, very common. Some people will, take money out of the stock market, right? Because they're going to basically invest in themselves instead of the market that can fluctuate a lot. I've seen that happen a lot. So, you just kind of got to put all your chips on the table and figure out what's the best, most efficient way to fund your business. And it may be something you're not even thinking about yet, but that's why it's important to have conversations with the funding partners, because before you ever sign anything, they're going to just lay it all out there and you can basically make a decision on what's best.
So again, after that initial call with Oxi Fresh, then you go through this kind of validation period where Oxi Fresh makes sure that you're a good fit. You feel like you're a good fit. And then talk to us about a discovery day. What is a discovery day in the world of franchising?
Yeah, so this is where you tie everything together, because previous to this discovery process, and we do discovery where we fly you out to Denver, and you're going to spend at least 2 days with us. So there's two parts of the discovery. One is you're coming out just to validate the phone conversations, the conversations you have with the franchisees, the documents that you've read. So you're basically tying everything together while you're here to make sure there's no red flags, right? Make sure that you can get along with the people that are going to be helping you on the franchise side. Make sure there's a good symbiotic relationship between you and the franchising company so that you, again, can walk down the same road together. So that discovery process is essentially the last step before you become a franchise, and it's an in-person. We're taking you through everything. The first day is completely office-related, back-end office technology. For us, our scheduling platforms and how they integrate with our individual franchisees. It's going to go through marketing at a very high level. It's going to go through the technology platform and the reporting software that we have on the back end. So that is all business ownership-related training and what we do. The second day is all field training. So you're going to see how boots on the ground, the customer interaction, how we mix product, how we go about our day, how we do walkthroughs pre and post jobs, how we take payments. So when you go with the business part of it the first day, and then you go with the actual doing of the jobs the second day, after you've done all of that and you decide to move forward, that is when we would go through the maps and lock everything in. And that's typically when people would sign to become a franchise. So that discovery process, once all that's done, the next very step is becoming a franchise. So it's the last step in the process.
So day number one, when we're going over the back end of everything, who's going to be leading me? Where is it going to take place? And when is it going to happen? Like what time of the day?
Sure. Yep. So we start at 9 a.m. We this nice little restaurant by our office here in Lakewood, Colorado. And we just kind of go through an introduction phase. We bring our entire team. So you're going to meet not only our management staff, our marketing department, our cleaning system department, our development department, our ops department, our founder, Jonathan, our vice president, Chris. Everyone is there. So we just kind of meet each other, make sure everything's good. Usually have some laughs at that time. And we go straight into the training. We go first into the technology, how that integrates to the scheduling center, which is right here. So you're actually going to sit with our scheduling center reps as they book jobs for our franchisees across the country.
Awesome.
And see how that integrates through the technology. You're going to go through the next section with Aaron Hogan, who's our director of marketing. You're going to go through all the marketing techniques that we use, all the marketing vendors that are implemented into our franchise, and how these sorts of businesses will help you grow in your local market. Okay, so that's the second piece of it.
Got it.
And then the afternoon is dedicated specifically to our founder and Josh, who's our online marketing specialist, and talking about Oxi Fresh past, present, and future. It's very important to understand why we are here now, how we got to this point, what we're currently working on as a franchise, and the roadmap 6 months to a year down the road, because everything's changing so much. So there needs to be a clear understanding of what we are doing for our franchisees and the responsibility of our franchisees and what they need to do when they get back home, right? So at that point, we're not doing any heavy training at this point. We're just showing examples of everything that we're doing, so there's a clear understanding for our franchisees of what they need to do, right? It's not just a flick the switch and go back home and things just start coming from the sky. So it is full on, this is Oxi Fresh.
How much of your Discovery Day do you sit together and talk about feelings and motivation, and then more motivation and more inspiration? And how much time is about, this is the specific steps, this is the system, this is how it works, field training behind the scenes? What was, as a pie chart, what percentage of it are you bouncing around beach balls and blaring Tony Robbins and saying, you can do it, you got to sign up now? I mean, what percentage of the time are you queuing up the hype music? Are you telling people there's one availability left? Are you really laying in the pressure? What percentage of the time are you really hyping it up like a good MLM, like a good timeshare sales? What time are you really ambushing the people? What percentage of the pie chart do you devote to ambushing people with high-pressure sales techniques?
Sure. So that's about 100%. I'm just kidding.
Wow. Wow.
No, with this, we're very, you'll see we're very laid back.
True.
I mean, it's extremely important for us. We will not sell a franchise or award a franchise until someone goes through this process, because you just don't know, right? A lot of the motivation for us comes from the individual and their engagement with our home office.
True.
Right. We've had people come and not say a word. That's very difficult. Right? Because we can't really understand the goals. So what we want is a very open format. We're talking about how you specifically are going to be able to leverage the resources we have at Oxi Fresh to grow your business. And it needs to be a give and take on both sides. So most of it is just laying everything out there and making sure there's a clear understanding of what's going to need to happen to be a successful business. And it's also, we can engage with you and understand your understanding, right? So if we need to have multiple conversations about one specific aspect, that's not uncommon. Not everybody learns the same, but we need to know that so that we can clearly show what's going to need to be done and how that's going to affect your business. So it is completely exploratory at this point, where we're going through at a very high level each aspect of the business and making sure that there is a very, very clear understanding, because at this point, the only next thing after this is to become a franchise. So if we're not really at an understanding point now, we probably need to go back to the drawing board a little bit.
And what kind of questions do you?
Right, so we spend that time.
What are some of the most commonly asked questions during Discovery Day? So, like today, you have, people in from multiple cities. What kind of questions do people typically ask when they come for a Discovery Day?
Yeah, a lot of people will say, for my business, I want to grow whatever the numbers. I want to be this big by this point. How much do I need to spend on marketing? That's a big one. Right. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go into your local market and we're going to see who your competitors are. Because at this point, not every territory is created the same in terms of competition.
Got it.
Right. 17 Google reviews might get it done in one territory where 120 might get it done in another. That's not anything those aren't hurdles we can't get over. It's just how much effort are you spending, how much time you're spending, and how quickly can you get to that 121 reviews. Right. So all these things are very easily manageable as long as there's a clear expectations of what needs to be done. So a lot of the questions are in marketing. A lot of the questions are in support.
Got it.
Right? When I hire someone, how do I train them? When I hire somebody, or how do I hire someone? That's a big one as well. Right? All these things we address and show the platforms we use to effectively get these things done, whether it's hiring, whether it's training, whether it's implementing marketing programs in a given level, and how that actual relationship works. Right? Are you guys doing it for me? Am I doing it for myself? Are we working together? So we're going to lay out all those things. And we want people to come with as many questions as possible. It's very scary if someone comes with no questions.
And how much money are you going to charge me to come to this Discovery Day? I know somebody out there is asking this question. Geez, what's it going to cost to get out there? And, what are you charging people $1,000 for the tour, or is it free? What does it cost to do a Discovery Day with Oxi Fresh?
Sure. Yeah. So, and there's a lot of companies do this different. We have a very, what I consider a unique approach to this. We're not just flying people out that haven't gone through a very, very detailed process with our development team. prior. So if you called me one day and said, hey, Matt, I've been looking at Oxi Fresh for a long time. I want to do this. I'd say, let's put the brakes on a little bit. I need to know about you. We need to go through the process. This could take weeks or months, by the way. So the discovery is after a long amount of time in terms of, or a short amount of time, but a lot of conversation and a lot of deep dive into material and having conversations with our franchisees, right? Like-minded franchisees.
Yep.
So this is after we've kind of said, yep, this is a good fit for us. This is a good fit for you. We don't charge anything. We want you to at first realize that this is a two-way street. I have the flexibility through our ownership to fly individuals out that we feel would be a good fit for Oxi Fresh. So we fly you out to come and do this. And they give us that because if we feel that it's appropriate, Mike and I are both franchise owners. We know what it takes to be successful in this business. So when we get to that point, we're very, very confident in being able to invest in somebody else before they ever invest in Oxi Fresh.
And if you go out there and you sold an Oxi Fresh franchise, awarded one to somebody who's not successful, you guys make a percentage of somebody's gross revenue, And so you don't make anything as Oxi Fresh corporate if someone's failing. I mean, your success is tied together. Talk to us here. I have two final questions about field training. At the end of the day, someone's going to have to go out there and clean carpet and know how to clean carpet. If you buy an Oxi Fresh franchise, you're going to have to know how to clean carpet, know how to train people to clean carpet. You're going to have to know how the online scheduling works. How detailed of field training do you go into? I mean, do potential franchisees actually go out there and clean carpet themselves? Are they watching videos about this is how we clean carpet, or what are they doing?
All the above, right? So while you're here, we spend most of the time field training because that's the hardest thing to reenact when you get home, right? We can always go through marketing. We can always go through scheduling jobs and how the online scheduler interacts with your customers. All that can be done very easily. What is harder to recreate is the actual training in the field. So we spend most of the time while you're here. What we didn't talk about is when you become a franchise after that first 2 days, you're going to stay at least another 2 to 3 days or come back to Denver for 2 or 3 days for more training, right? So that's not the only training. So about 70% of the people that come will come for the whole week. Expectation to become a franchise without the obligation. So after that 2 days, if they don't feel comfortable, that's fine. They can go home. But a lot of people don't want to make 2 trips, so they go the discovery day, first 2 days, sign, become a franchise. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday is the additional training. And this is where we really dial into the cleaning process, the customer engagement, the process of going from a job on your schedule, going to the job, the call ahead, the walkthroughs, payments, all that sort of stuff. So that is something we'll drill very hard. The nice thing about our cleaning system, it's very easy. We can train anybody, male, female, young, old. It's not heavy equipment either, so that piece is easy. But what we do on the back end of that is to piggyback on just the in the field training. Yep. We have a very in-depth online Oxi Fresh University. We worked very hard on this. It's got 7 different stages to it. It's got mixing of product. It's got carpet cleaning, upholstery cleaning, tile and grout cleaning, even hardwood floor cleaning. It even goes into certain aspects of how you get Google reviews from customers, right? The ability to get a review in the home, and if you just leave a flyer to give them. So all these things, it's the whole process, and you must pass that at a 90% before you as an owner can open your schedule. And if you have a technician, they must pass that at 90% before they can actually put jobs on their schedule. So it's not just kind of, we trust you. These are very imperative things to keep our brand to what we consider world-class customer service, which we have now. We need those things to happen, and you should want them to happen so that everyone on your team has the skill set to do a good job.
Well, I know some of our listeners right now are going to be going up to thrivetimeshow.com/Oxi Fresh. Again, that's thrivetimeshow.com/Oxi Fresh to learn more about the brand. But if you buy an Oxi Fresh franchise, at the end of the day, you have proven turnkey marketing, a history of success, low startup costs, cutting-edge carpet cleaning technology, and much, much more. But Matt can't help you. The Oxi Fresh team can't help you if they don't get a chance to know you. So just go up there to thrivetimeshow.com/Oxi Fresh, fill out the form, and Matt, you're going to give them a call, and then what happens?
Yep. So you're going to get an email, you're going to get a text message, and you're also going to get a phone call. And we're going to set something up. We're going to take the process. I'm going to learn a lot about you, what you're looking to accomplish, your goals. We're going to talk about how Oxi Fresh may or may not be able to accomplish that. So And we'll just have an open forum where we can get through the process. And if you become a franchise, great. If not, that's okay too.
Matt, I appreciate your time more than you could possibly know, because I know today you have multiple people in from out of town to buy an Oxi Fresh franchise, and so this is not a theoretical day for you. There are real people in from all over the country visiting today, so you have a busy day, so I'll let you get back to what you're doing. I'm sure you have some Discovery Day dodgeball sessions to complete and important things like that, so I'll let you get back to it. And again, thank you for being on the show today, my friend.
All right, everyone have an awesome day. I appreciate the time. We're here if you guys want to explore Oxi Fresh.
All right, take care. Now it's time to end this show with a boom. If you allow me to have the honors here, I typically don't get to take the show out with a boom. I don't get a chance to do it very much. It is the main vocal talent of the show. I personally was offered the opportunity by Clay to end the show with a boom. Thus, if you are out there today, you are tired of the frustration, you're tired of the lack of practical education, and you want to change your financial situation, and of not having the success that you deserve to have, and you want to learn the skills to pay the bills as soon as possible, and you want your life to become less stressful, you want to take your life to the next level, like you're singing with Aaron Neville. If you want to become the success that you deserve to be, and to be in ecstasy, book your tickets for our next in-person Thrive Time Show workshop. And now, without any further ado, 3, 2, 1, boom! Hey! Yes? Why didn't you cue up the explosion? Come on, man! Clay says to me, he said, you can hit that button whenever you want to hit that button, and you was a mean man. Come on, cue up the explosion! That would be no. Give it to me! No. Don't take the satisfaction from me! Listen here, I'm going to hit that button when I want to hit the button, but first you is going to let me talk about the dangers of the nasty, nasty sounds made by the kangaroos, because that is crazy. Fine, so just talk about the dangers and then hit the explosion sound. Okay, so this is very important. Should you ever be over there with yourself, surrounded by what could be a kangaroo self, then what you're going to do is you don't want to upset it, because kangaroos are a lot bigger than people think. I don't know if a lot of people are aware of this, but the average kangaroo right now, what would you guess the height was? Well, the average kangaroo, this is crazy, it's 5.9 feet tall. And it is so big, and it's not nice the way you think it is. And so if you was ever near a kangaroo, you would want to say, who this is? And if the kangaroo says, then you know that it was a kangaroo, and then you just got to go. You just got to run out of there, baby. You can't be near that kangaroo. Thank you. That's all I wanted to say. If you just want to let me say that earlier, I could have not interrupted your show. So do your little countdown, and I'll get the little sound effect going. Fine. All right. So now without any further ado, 3, 2, 1, boom!